Hey there, MYM Insiders. How you doing? We may have had a minor technical glitch there. I'm not quite sure what was happening. For some reason in our system there was two iterations of this webinar, and it appeared that for a moment there the organizers, us, and the attendees were on different webinars. It looks like everybody's all here together now, though. So we'll go ahead and get started. If there was indeed a problem, I apologize. You may not even have perceived that there was a problem. I'm not really sure. Anyway, we are all together now, and we're going to get rolling. This is Rapid Fire Innovation, and this is something that I've done over the years, probably the fourth or fifth time I've done this now, and it's an interesting way to approach innovation. What we're going to do, and let me share my screen here, is we're going to take a lot of these innovation formulas that we talk about in Monopolize Your Marketplace, and simply put, what I'm going to do is tackle different industries, and we're going to take a look at some of the ways that these strategies can be implemented into these industries. This is not meant to be comprehensive at all. That's not the point of this. The point is to say, okay, here's an industry. What could we do to improve it, to make it better, to make it different, to make it competitively more attractive, and all those kinds of things. And the idea is to run through a lot of different scenarios in a relatively short amount of time. So that's what we're going to do. That's why we call it rapid fire innovation, because it's very literally rapid fire. So that being said, let's go ahead and review quickly the strategies. The magic wand, of course, the most foundational of all the innovation strategies, which simply says if you could hand a magic wand to your customer, they could wave it over your business and or your industry, and they could change things and make them different and better for themselves. What would it look like? Bookmobile is the strategy of bringing things to customers that otherwise they might normally have to go to. By the way, just a standard comment here, not all of these strategies are going to be available and applicable to every business or every situation. So that's why we go through them in general. Indirect competitor emulation simply says find out things that people like about your indirect competitors and try to implement and integrate those things into your business. The real deal, why are people buying from you in the first place? The easiest example for that is the florist. People don't really want flowers per se. They want romance. They want getting out of trouble. They want consolation at funerals, weddings, okay, these kinds of things. And weddings and flowers are part of that, but it's not that I really want a flower for my wife. It's that I want to show my wife that I love her. So that would be romance. That's the real deal. Two birds is helping people get a couple things done at once instead of just one thing. It's something we'll cover in a couple of the examples here today. The Pulaski no punt, this is the strategy of finding something that doesn't appear on surface level to make a lot of sense, but if you break down the numbers, it really is worthwhile and interesting. But here's the key hallmark of the Pulaski no punt. It's something that is probably going to be, this is a term that I swiped from Malcolm Gladwell, socially horrifying, things that are just very, very outside of the ordinary. If you talk about getting outside of the box, what we're talking about here is taking the box, taking a sledgehammer and smashing it to pieces. That's what the Pulaski no punt is all about. And it's a fairly advanced strategy. We probably won't be spending a lot of time there today. The free lunch simply says what could you give people for free that would make a difference. We don't want to just haphazardly hand things out for free. We want to do it in a strategic, well thought out way, and there may be some of those that come up today. Guaranteed greatness. This is a strategy where we find things that we can guarantee and make a competitive difference. We do this quite often with a lot of our home improvement companies. One of the guarantees that I encourage them to think out and see if it's a good fit, but oftentimes it is a good fit, is, this is just one example, is to have a glass breakage warranty for windows. And the reason is not that the glass breakage warranty is necessarily even more valuable or desirable than other types of warranties surrounding the windows, but it's something that people can really wrap their arms around, understand, and visualize the potential need to utilize that type of a warranty, so it becomes very powerful. So it's taking something and guaranteeing it. Grand Theft Inno, this is the most base level innovation formula. It simply says go find things that other people are doing inside or outside of your industry, and take the ideas. Grand theft, take them, steal the ideas. We're not talking about patent or copyright infringements. We're talking about finding good ideas and running with them. In other words, be a student of your own industry and of other industries, okay? Quality counts, taking things that are quality and improving them, or taking things you already do that are high quality and making sure that they're articulated and explained in a way that people can understand. Speedy Gonzalez, real easy one. Can you do things faster? Fun guy. Can you do things that are fun and interesting and likable and entertaining even potentially within your business? It sounds like something that may not be a good fit for every company, but the reality is people tend to like to do business with people they like. That's one of the 6 foundational weapons of influence from Robert Cialdini's book by the same title. And we've taken this strategy and we've put it into companies where you would think that fun has no part or no real interest on the part of the customers, like a box manufacturing company. But indeed, fun can be integrated into any kind of business. I'm not suggesting that you have to do all of these or even any of these, but it's just trying to give you some ideas. Moving very quickly through the rest of this list before we get to the rest of the actual industries. Captain Obvious, this simply says to take the premise that you want to build your business on, the sales arguments and the value proposition, and make it so painfully obvious that you do that it's very, very hard to overlook and very hard to miss the point. Home of the blank. This is taking and creating literally a phrase, home of the, and then fill something in. This would have to do with your identity, and then making that something that you hold up that people look at and can identify you with. Inside out. Inside out. What we're talking about here is looking at your identity and pulling things out of your identity and putting them forth. Pampered chef, doing things that pamper people, adding some touches of luxury to what you do. And then small stuff. I did a webinar on this with them last year called Sweating the Small Stuff. And we're simply talking about looking at all the little teeny things that normally get overlooked, that individually are not that important, and working on those things so that they become something worth talking about. Okay, so there's just a quick overview of the different innovation strategies that we're going to be using. So let's jump right in and let's start with the dentist. Everybody knows that I love the dentist. I actually hate going to the dentist, but I like innovating the dentist. We work with quite a few dentists. I wouldn't say a ton. We used to work with more, and we've focused a little bit more on home improvement in the last year, but we have done quite a bit of work with dentists. So one of the things that you could innovate if you were a dentist is the waiting room experience. Now think about this. Here's what we're trying to do. Think about this in a more global sense, sort of the 30,000-foot view. We're trying to do things and put things in place that enhance the experience that the customer has, so that when they think in terms of, hey, I need to, in this case, go to the dentist, it's things that make them want to go to this particular dentist. So what we're talking about is enhancing the waiting room experience, making it better. So things like having better magazines. I went to, not a dentist, but a doctor with my kid. This has been about a year or two ago. I don't try not to go to the doctor all that much. But the magazine selection in that office was horrifying. The magazines were old, they were torn, they were not relevant. If you've got a Newsweek magazine or something like that that's 11 months old, it's really not very helpful to anybody. If you got a National Geographic or something that's a little less time sensitive, but it wasn't less time sensitive. So here's what we're talking about. What could you do to make your waiting room experience better? Whether it's decor, whether it's entertainment options, whether it's, well, food, snacks, things like that. What I'm asking you to do is look at these areas and come up with improvements. Teeth whitening guaranteed. This is guaranteed greatness, of course. And one of the issues that we found with dentists is that they offer teeth whitening, but here's the reality on teeth whitening. Teeth whitening is not, it's one of these things that sounds good, but it doesn't really necessarily always deliver as promised. Now, you might beg to differ with me because you've seen people with very extremely white teeth, But the reality is this is something that you do, and maybe you have to do it again, and maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. And my comment to the dentist is, why don't you put a guarantee on that? Because here's the main thing you need to understand. It's very inexpensive to administer the teeth whitening guarantee. It's very inexpensive to administer teeth whitening in general. So why not put some kind of a guarantee behind it where if it didn't perform to the expected standard, that you could either give them take-home kits or they could come in for additional treatments? Why not? Because here's kind of how I feel about that. If you did the service and it didn't work, well, wouldn't you want to make that right anyway? How about a no-wait guarantee? Now, this goes in direct conflict with the first one, the waiting room experience. If there was no wait, then there would be no reason to have an enhanced waiting room experience. But you just kind of have to decide where you want to go. You have to look at your business. If you're a dentist, you have to say, is it possible to formulate the inner workings of our business so that people do not have to wait? And I'm not just talking about not waiting in the waiting room. I'm talking about also not waiting in the exam room. See, we all know that trick, right? Oh, we'll get you right in. And you get in there and you sit in that dumb little room for 45 minutes while you're waiting for somebody while you're sitting there doing nothing, playing, tap on your iPhone. So what we want to do in this scenario is find ways and say, is it possible that we can make it so people do not have to wait? They can get right in. Then you have to look at it and say, well, is it even a big deal that people have to wait? Is it something that people are worried about? And the answer is, it could be if you looked at times when people want to go to the dentist. What if you had a no-wait guarantee for lunchtime appointments? Anytime between 11 and 1 o'clock, we can get you in, but not just get you in. We can get you in right away without having to wait, and we can guarantee that so that people would be more willing to leave on their lunch break. You see where I'm going with this? What I'm trying to do is simply think through situations and come up with solutions to help to fix them. This may seem very academic and fundamental, but the reality is, where else would you start except for with fundamentals and academic stuff like people hate to wait, okay? Next, how about wash your car or change your oil while you're getting work done? Average dental visit takes, 45 minutes, an hour, probably, bare minimum, 30 minutes at the very least. And what if they had a company that could come in and was willing to do mobile car washing, mobile oil change, or you could hand them your keys and they would take your car, however that would work. And, there's liability issues. Okay, well, have a spot that can be parked right there on site where they can come in and they can do those things. I'm not saying here's exactly how to do it. I'm saying how could you make that work? One of the things that I hate more than anything else is when people immediately throw up objections to getting things done, and the objections are thrown up as if they are the final arbiter, and there's no way around these massive objections, and so therefore what you're proposing is impossible, so why are we even spending any breath on it? And in my experience, that's almost never true. The objections may be valid. I'm not trying to say don't bring objections. Hey, take your objections and get them out of here. Just do what I say without any consideration of reality and truth. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying raise the objections, but don't do it with the tone and attitude of, well, screw that, we can't do that. Well, why not? Well, people wouldn't want that. See, some of these things are things that people wouldn't necessarily want, but if you start thinking in terms of things that people wouldn't necessarily want, you say, well, I don't know if people would want their oil changed. I don't know if people would want to get their car washed while they're at the dentist. Now, I'm going to give you an example right now that's a completely different scenario than washing your car while you're at the dentist, but the philosophy and the mindset is so good that I want to just bring it out and make sure that you integrate this into what you do. Don't always sit around and wait for, quote unquote, what people want to do. Your job as a business owner, your job as an innovator, your job as a marketer is to figure those things out. Maybe go, again, here I go with this dumb analogy, going a couple steps outside of the box, figuring out what people want, understanding human nature and desire and needs and wants and things that would be cool and things that wouldn't be cool, and just doing them. And the example, of course, is Apple. This is a company that has gone beyond what people can think, beyond what people are asking for, beyond what people want, and giving people things that they only realized they want and thought were cool after they saw them. If you said to somebody, do you want a touch screen phone? They might say, well, I don't know. Yeah, I guess. It sounds pretty cool. What would that look like? But if you went to people and you asked a different question, what are you looking for in a cell phone if the year was 2005 or 6?
they're not going to say, I want a touch screen, because it's not on their radar of things that they're even expecting or anticipating. Okay, so you get the idea here. Now, you're coming back to me and say, well, this is dumb, though, changing people's oil. Well, what if your relationship was such that you just washed their car for free, or maybe you charged them a little bit, or maybe you had a third-party company come in and do it? Are these things that would make a difference, that would make people's life easier, et cetera? And the answer is, perhaps it is. Maybe if they felt like they could get these other things done while they were there, maybe they would also feel like they would want to go to the dentist more often. Would that be helpful and handy to you if you were a dentist? Probably. How about free nitrous oxide day? Now, this is one that would be done in kind of good taste, humor, hopefully, and not done as sort of a weird, creepy, strange thing. But how cool would it be if there was free nitrous oxide days? And you told people, you advertised it, you put it out there that, hey, if you come in on certain days, that those days the nitrous oxide is going to be absolutely free. It's not something we're going to line item charge you for. Even if people didn't care because their insurance was covering it or whatever, it would still be an interesting, fun, entertaining way to talk about it. Now, I don't know, maybe regulatorily speaking, that would not be allowed. I don't really know. But here's what we're trying to do. This is called Fun Guy, right? Now, again, there's obviously a connection between abuse of drugs and this, and we've got to be careful and steer clear of that, but it is something that would be kind of interesting and different and fun to talk about. Okay, how about toys or gifts or candy for children? Do kids like going to the dentist? Answer, no. Why? Because it hurts like crazy, and the potentiality for them to do things to you as a child while you're there that you don't want them to do is very high. And then when you leave, they give you this little bag that's got a little toothbrush and a thing of toothpaste in it, which you didn't care about because you already have a toothbrush that you already don't want to use, and you already have toothpaste that you don't want to use. Why not give the kid something that makes him say, man, I want to go back? It doesn't have to be that big of a deal. It doesn't have to be super expensive. Children are very, very easy to influence. If you don't know this already, learn it right now. They're easy to influence. And when you've got customers that are children, you've got to find ways to appeal to those children outside sometimes of just the core of what you do. Hey, here's a book on brushing your teeth. Nobody wants that. That's stupid. What kind of kid wants to read a book about brushing your teeth? What if you had the crocodile game? You've seen this before. It's a little plastic crocodile, and his mouth opens, and then you have to push his teeth. He's got maybe something like 15 teeth on the bottom, and you push them, and if you hit the certain one, it clenches down and it snaps shut on your finger. It's a fun little game. And then you open the mouth and it resets and it's random. Which tooth is the one that triggers it is random every time. This game is commercially available. If you bought them in bulk, it would probably cost you about $4 each. And it's something that kids would love to get. Just something fun and dumb and silly and stupid, or candy or whatever. Okay? This is what I'm talking about, is making the experience better. Okay? Sedation methods. I talked to a dentist just last week. They said that they are licensed in the state of Illinois to provide sedation methodologies that other dentists can't. They said only about 5% of dentists have the proper licensing and have gone through the course and had the expertise to administer certain types of sedation. I said, well, why don't other dentists do that? And they said, well, because it just takes too much time and effort, and it's expensive, and it's just a big hassle, so they just don't. Well, to me, that seems like a major competitive advantage. If the number is truly 5% and you can outcompete 95 out of 100 dentists on this one point, that seems like a worthwhile thing, and it's something that people want. So, again, just thinking through this for the dentist. Let's move on to the diamond wholesaler. I kind of have a soft spot in my heart for diamond wholesalers because two of my very, very, very first clients ever, I don't think I even got paid. We're talking back in 91, before I even started a company. Didn't start a company until 94. But some of the first ads I wrote, let me put it that way, were for diamond wholesalers. So let's take a look. What if they put together a comprehensive price, quality, availability comparison of all local retail outlets? So if you're a wholesaler, and this is what we found out. I was going to Brigham Young University. If you don't know much about that university, let me just tell you a couple important key points as it relates to this topic called diamond wholesalers. Number one, I would guess, and I would bet pretty much anything I own on the fact that the following statement is true. There are more students that get married at Brigham Young University than any other university in the country. And if you looked at that in raw numbers or percentages, any which way you wanted to slice it, because there's a culture of marriage that's very strong within the Mormon faith and at Brigham Young University. So that's great if you're selling diamonds, because you've got more people in the college years, college age, getting married. So there's a lot of demand for diamonds there. And there's also a lot of demand for cheap diamonds because people in college tend to be broke. So the diamond wholesalers do a good business. But here's what they compete against. They compete against all the retail stores down at the mall and at the various strip centers and all those kind of places where you sell diamonds. Zales, Jared's, all those things, right? But if you're just telling a story that, hey, we have lower prices, it starts to look very fishy, right? Some guy essentially almost selling diamonds out of his trunk, which isn't literally the case, but it kind of has that feel. Why not put together some kind of a comprehensive price quality? What we're talking about here is a marketing tool, and you might say, well, how's that an innovation? And the answer is because we're providing education and helping people understand. I first met a guy named Larry Rutherford. He was old enough then that I'm sure that by now he's probably passed on, but he was a retired jeweler, and he was selling diamonds wholesale out of his house at a nice place up in the hills there in Orem near Brigham Young University. And he sat down with me and he said, look, here's what you need to know about diamonds. And he explained them, and he went through this very short but interesting and compelling presentation of where diamonds come from and why they're so expensive at the mall and where the markup is. Why not explain that to people in writing and put it out there so people can understand it and understand some of the tricks and problems that you would have with the retail stores? Show their pricing schemes, right? This is what I'm talking about, is education. Now, this is kind of common, normal MYM stuff, but it's very important. Okay, how about a price versus appraisal guarantee? Now, here's an interesting thing about the diamond industry is that the appraisals tend to go, have you ever gone to a diamond store or jewelry store or whatever? Have you ever noticed that the diamonds are always on sale for something like 50% off? It's because they play these big, fat pricing games that aren't very believable, but nevertheless, that's just how the industry's worked for 100 years, and so it still works that way now. And so what happens is they tend to appraise things at more of a retail level than at a wholesale level. So if the guy is selling a diamond that would sell at retail, let's say for $1,500, and the wholesale guy is selling it for $1,000, then he's got an ability to get that, to give a guarantee on that, because that diamond that somebody bought at $1,500 is going to appraise at $1,500. So he's got an ability there to put a guarantee in place that says the diamond will appraise for 50% more than you paid for it, or I'll give you your money back. Now, this is kind of a weasel guarantee, because even if the appraisal isn't 50% more or double or whatever the claim is based on local conditions, it's still going to be sufficiently better of a deal than they can get at the mall. And so even if it's not 50% more, if it's only 40% more than the appraisal, 40%, you understand where I'm going with that, then you have the ability to get people to say, wow, I'm getting a really good deal, and you can guarantee it, okay? How about this one? A she didn't like it guarantee. This could be a problem, right? You want to propose to your girlfriend / now fiance, and you don't really know exactly what she wants. It'd be fun if you could go buy the diamond. Now, what you could do is you could put some kind of a fee on this to reset the diamond, to get a different diamond. You know, again, this is one of those areas that goes back to what I was saying earlier. Oh, well, we can't just be taking back diamonds because people didn't like it. Well, what if you put rules and conditions on your guarantee? Not just, hey, we'll give you your money back, but we'll give you your money back as long as it goes towards another diamond. And if there's any kind of breakup, or she didn't want it at all, or she said no, then maybe there's an ability to take it back, but with some kind of a deposit fee that gets taken out that helps to cover the lost profit from the wholesaler, okay? Same thing with the she said no guarantee. But think about this. She didn't like it and she said no guarantee. Think about advertising that. This is something that would be very interesting, that people would notice, that people would hear, that people would say, wow, that's different. The she said no guarantee. You could have all kinds of interesting, fun ways to deal with that in advertising, but only if you actually had it available, okay? Joint ventures out the wazoo for the diamond wholesaler, the travel, the tux, all the different things that are involved with weddings. As a diamond wholesaler, you are on the front end of the entire wedding industry because everything else happens after the diamond, right? The wedding hall, the flowers, the tuxedos, the honeymoons. So you could actually do joint ventures and give the names of your customers to these other types of companies, which could then make you and them a lot of money. Okay, packaging free stuff with the purchase. You've got enough margin in the diamond that if you were to take a couple of $100 and spend that, or even $50 and spend it on something, or through joint ventures get people to give you some offers. You know, what if you went to the tuxedo place and you said, hey, tuxedo place, can you give me some kind of a coupon that says if the groom rents his tuxedo from you, it'll be free as long as at least 5 other people rent their tuxedos from the same place. And now you've got this in, right? Okay. Educational materials about diamonds, I already talked about that. Let's move on to the next one, which is the dry cleaner, the lowly dry cleaner. What can we do to innovate that dumb dry cleaner? Because, you know, this is a pretty boring industry. You bring your clothes in, you drop them off in the sack, hopefully, or maybe they come pick it up at your house, and then you just pick it up later. Well, let's try to do something a little bit different. What about a full bag day for loyal customers? You say, well, how does that work? Well, we can't just, you know, I can hear the screams and cries already. Well, we can't just give away free bags. Well, it says for loyal customers. You can define your loyal customers any way you want. What if you saw that through your records, and if you don't have records, then you need to get records, okay? When I mean records, I'm talking about some kind of a computerized way to keep track of stuff so that you can sort this kind of stuff out. But what if you saw that a customer had come in at least twice a month for the last 2 years? Well, one thing you could do is you could send them a little thank you note, thank you, or you could send them a little gift. That would be nice. That would be pretty good. Or you could send them a little coupon or something like that. Or more likely, you could do nothing and just hope and expect that they keep coming back, which you never know. It's a habit, so that's good. But is there any particular reason they're coming there? For most people, the answer is not really. As soon as another dry cleaner opens a little bit closer to my house, you're toast. So why not put something together that they would notice, like a full bag day for loyal customers? And you've got the little bag that they put their clothes in and they bring it in. And what if you said, hey, if you bring your clothes in on Friday, October 19th, bring in your bag and we'll do it for free. And if their normal bag is $65 worth of stuff and you're going to give them $65 worth of free stuff, if you look at well, let's do the math on it for just a second. Let's grab my calculator here. If they come in twice a month, that's 24 times a year. If you gave them one of those for free, that's the equivalent of a 4.1% discount. Why is that so hard to pull off? You do it once a year, you do it every once in a while, or maybe you send it out on an email. I don't know. Figure out a way to do that. But this is ways to make people say, wow, these guys are acknowledging me and treating me right. That's all it is. How about this? Hire somebody that has a personality. Have you ever noticed that the people that work at the dry cleaners don't have any personality? Now, maybe yours does, but mine doesn't. And most of the ones, you say, well, it's a function of that position. Well, why not hire a little bit more carefully? Is it that hard to find good employees? What if you paid a little bit more to get somebody with a decent personality, somebody that people would want to talk to, somebody that people would want to have some sort of a casual, I'm friendly with the person that works there kind of a relationship? You know what I'm talking about. Hire a decorator already. Good grief. Some of these places are like just the dungeon. They got these doors and these steam coming out of the back, and it's kind of a dreadful place. There are some cleaners that do this, I've seen, but the vast majority of them don't. They just don't pay any attention to this kind of stuff. Why not? Make it fun to do business with the dry cleaner. Why not offer tailoring, shoe shining, repair, things like that? I write about it's a strip mall, and so about maybe 6, 7 doors down from my dry cleaner is the tailor. But these two things in my mind tend to go together. Shoe shining, shoe repair, things that could maybe just be dropped off. I don't know. Figure out something. 2 birds, 1 stone, right? Pick up and deliver at no extra charge or at a nominal extra charge. This is something that many dry cleaners already do. But you know what? My dry cleaner has delivery service, but they've never offered it to me. I don't even know how to get signed up on it. I'm not sure how it works. Nobody's ever told me anything about it. Accept competitor coupons. Okay? Just something to think about. Offers some basic C-store items for sale. Here's what I'm talking about. C-store, convenience store. You walk in there, you've got a customer in there, why not offering them something? Or maybe give them something for free to make them feel better about it. How much does it cost when you go to the dry cleaners? When I go to the dry cleaners, it's usually somewhere between $35 and $65, pretty much every single time. Doesn't that warrant me getting a free soda or candy bar or something? Well, yes, the answer is why not? It's so easy to do. And it's something that makes people want to come in. You know that when you go in, you're going to get something free. It's going to be something small, something insignificant, but something that shows a little bit of appreciation. Or put things in there for sale. Why not? Why not have a cooler? Why not have a section of candy bars? Something. I don't know. I would probably buy something. And don't make it so super expensive that people feel ripped off. Okay, would you like a Snickers for $1.75? No. I'm not at the airport. I'm at the dry cleaner. And yeah, I'll take a Snickers for, what, 89 cents? Whatever, right? You get the idea. Free gifts, snacks, I already talked about that. Just some basic stuff that I would recommend for retail stores like dry cleaners, things that people tend to be in and out, but don't necessarily go there to buy that kind of stuff, okay? Let's go to the next one. Education centers, tutoring. Okay, so now we're going to get into tutoring. Okay, well, first of all, we need to educate the prospects and the customers. What I've got on here, it says Cliff Notes summary of how educational outcomes can best be achieved. What I'm talking about here is helping people to understand what makes the difference really in getting students to achieve well. Instead of just saying, hey, we're a tutor, help people understand. And of course, you should have your tutoring methodologies tailored to whatever the best methodologies are of learning. Okay, so it's just really an educational situation. Comprehensive comparison of all tutoring centers in the area. Again, this is a marketing tool strategy. We call this, oh man, what do we call this? Competitive. I can't remember what we call it all of a sudden, but what we're talking about is going literally to all the competitors and doing the homework of the prospect for them. So instead of them saying, well, I don't know, there's 10 different places to buy this tutoring, I don't know which one to use, how would they know? They're going to look at websites, they're going to try to figure it out. Are the methodologies the same? Are they different? What are the pros? What are the cons? What are the strengths? What are the weaknesses? Why not just find all that stuff out? Number one, it'll help people figure it out, so they'll be more likely to reciprocate that information, and they'll want to do business with you because you've helped them. Number two, it can help you identify areas where you maybe need to improve. Remember we talked earlier about indirect competitor emulation. We can find out some things that maybe we need to be doing better, and this is a good way to help people out and to get business, okay? Online modules, perhaps. Comfortable, kid-friendly atmosphere. You know, this is not Harvard. This is kids we're talking about. Make it a little bit more kid-friendly. Okay, I guess we'll just breeze right past that one. Executive housing. Okay, executive housing. What we're talking about here is basically furnished hotel/apartments that people would stay at for extended periods of time, anywhere from a few days to a few weeks to maybe even a few months, as they're out of town working on various business projects. So what about extra amenities such as better television, better access to food, housekeeping? Has anybody ever stayed at the Residence Inn, as an example, by Marriott? They've got this little teeny dreadful convenience store down there. Why not make sure that you build the place next to a decent restaurant, build it next to a convenience store so that people can walk to these places if you don't make that stuff available yourself? And, oh, by the way, why not make that available yourself? Also, housekeeping, things like this. What we're talking about is making the stay more comfortable, better television. One of the things that I hate about hotels, I don't know about you, is that when you watch TV, you realize how spoiled you are back at home by having access to an information guide and information about what's showing. You ever been at a hotel and you're flipping through the channels and you don't know what channel you're on? Maybe it says TBS or ABC, so at least you know what the channel is, but you don't know what the program is. If it's a commercial, you don't have any idea what it is, and you have no access to information that if you're at home watching on cable or if you're watching on satellite, you've got access to that information. Why not make that available to the hotel guest or to the extended stay guest? And the answer very well might be because it's not available, and the solution to that is, well, find a way to make it available. Find a way to make it available. Well, it's just not available. Okay, this is one of those things where sometimes you just got to punch people in the face a little bit and say, look, I'm talking about something that's important here. You say, well, it's not that important. Why would it be so important what channel they're on TV? Why is that so? That's just important to you. That's not important to everybody else. Well, it would be as simple as finding a way to print out for the 32 channels that you have a list of what's on during the various during the day, like they used to print in the newspaper. They probably still do. Why not put that together so people can just simply see if it's not available electronically, or give them access to a link where they can go on their phone or their laptop and see what the schedule is. So at least they have a way of knowing, if not finding a way to make it available right there on the screen. How about free massages every day from 5 to 8 p.m.? Why not? People are there working, they're out of town, they don't necessarily have their other obligations of their family that they would normally have when they're back home, or different things that they might have to do. They've got a little bit of time on their hands. Why not give massages? Have a masseuse come in every day from 5 to 8 p.m., have 20-minute schedules. People can sign up ahead of time. You can put some rules in place about, hogging it up, and you can't take, more than your fair share and all that kind of stuff. Or maybe there's a coupon that they get that they can redeem, one every 3 days that they stay there or some such. I don't know. These are things that can be figured out, but why not do that? Here's what we're trying to do with all of these things for all of these companies. Everything on this call is all geared towards this. What are things that we could do that make people go, man, that's awesome. I want to go there. I want to use that dry cleaner. I want to use that tutoring service. I want to use that extended stay or that hotel. What are things that we could do? How much would it cost you to hire a masseuse? Well, if it was a 20-minute massage and you could do 3 of them per hour, and you had to pay somebody to come in, bring their little table in, and do the massage, and it was, let's say, you can get a massage normally for $50 an hour. If you were going to give somebody steady business at wholesale, couldn't you offer them $30 an hour, $35 an hour? Couldn't you find somebody? Craigslist is full of these people probably. I don't know. I haven't really gone there to find out. They don't have to have a location. They're going to use yours. Maybe you could put together a little room that has the music playing and all the incense burning. I don't know. Why not? It would cost you, let's say, $35 an hour, 35, and you're going to do it at 5, 6, 7 o'clock, so you're going to do it for 3 hours. So it's going to cost you $105 a day to be the hotel that offers massages, and that would allow you to offer 3 times 3, 9 massages a day. And you say, well, that's not enough. We need more. Well, okay, if it's that popular and it's making people come, then bring more. Get 2. It costs you $210 a day. I don't know. Hire somebody on staff that you can pay $14 an hour to come and do it instead of $35 an hour. These are things that can be thought through and solved. Here's what I hate. I've said it earlier. I'll say it right now again. I hate when people say, well, it's just not possible. Because it's not true. It's not true. What if it was made available on a first-come, first-served? What if it was only for the better clients? What if it was only for the people that were staying there for 5 or more days? All of these different ways you could use to make it more affordable for you, but if we just throw the objection, well, it's not possible, or it's dumb, or nobody would want that, you're telling me that nobody would want to get a massage at a hotel? And so let's pause here. And I like to play both sides of the conversation to anticipate what people would say. Well, I don't even want to have the conversation. I'm just going to move on. Bring other services to the facilities. Haircuts, manicures, okay? Game room with big screen TV, bar, pool, video games, sofas, free snacks. look at what we're talking about here. We're talking about executive housing. We're talking about a place where people are at for an extended period of time, whether it be a few days, a few weeks, or maybe even a few months, off and on, or continually. I remember I went to do a seminar in June. I was in Chicago, and a guy got on the elevator with me, and we got to talking, and he said he had been there for 2 straight weeks. He was in town at a training, and I was thinking, oh my gosh, I've been here a day and a half, and I couldn't stand being here for that long. You got your little room, you got this little, there's just not much to do there. Make this stuff available. Video games, sodas, snacks, come on, man, help out. Shuttle services, that may be available already. Larger rooms, better furniture, better bedding, okay, things to make these stays more appealing. Oh, by the way, if you did this, guess what you could probably do? Oh, charge more money. So let's say that you charge an extra $4 per night per room to offer all of this extra stuff. So now you've got, let's say, 50 guests paying an extra $4, 50 times 5 times 4. See, there's your money that you need to pay for this stuff. Okay, or maybe you just get more guests coming in, so you're actually selling 50 rooms instead of selling only 32 rooms. Then you've got more money there. Okay, the florist. How much time do we got here? It's 1:45, so we'll go for a few more minutes here. Helping customers set up romance hoppers. This is an old idea. I've talked about this before, but it's so good and nobody does it. I don't get it. If you want to go start a franchise and make $1 bazillion, just take this idea and run with it. Quit your job, whatever you do right now, and go do this. It's just sitting there. It's available. Helping customers set up a romance hopper. You go to the men and you say, look, here's the deal. You suck at romance because you're a man. Just admit it. It's fine. We get it. We're going to help you send flowers or other romantic things to your wife every single month for a year. Here's what you got to do. How much money do you want to spend? Do you want to spend $20 a month, $40 a month, $60 a month, $100 a month? I mean, come on, you love your wife to the extent of $80 a month, don't you? Here's what we'll do is every month we'll send her flowers. We can pre-set them right now. Sometimes we can send other things besides flowers. Oh, we can't send other things besides flowers because we're a flower shop. If we sent chocolates or if we sent movie tickets or if we sent some other bubble bath or something, that we couldn't do that. Well, why the heck not? You're not there to sell a stupid flower because it grows on a stem and it smells good. Nobody cares about that. They care about the romance. Why not help them set that up and make it paid on a monthly credit card basis? Help them set it up. They can choose when their anniversaries, when birthdays, all these things are. Give them the get out of jail free cards. Okay? Put together a frequency program. If you come in and buy flowers from us, now you don't really need a frequency program if you do the romance hopper because they're already going to have these rewards or these free things built in. But if you wanted to not do the first thing on this list and just do the second one, why wouldn't you create a frequency program? Try to get people, give them a reason to come in and to do business with you more often. And instead of saying, oh my gosh, I need some flowers, well, where's the closest flower store? Let me go down to Tom Thumb, the grocery store, and buy some. It makes you more likely and inclined to go to the one that you've got the frequency program with, okay? Mobile van goes to offices. You know, this is an industry that just makes me mad because they don't I don't know. They're so stuck on being flower people that they don't really understand. If you would go around to offices with your flower shop or your romance shop has got other things too besides just flowers, like I've said 49 times, and you had the van and it was attractive and it was something that it's like the ice cream truck of flowers, and you went to the parking lots and you had some kind of song that you played that people heard and they realized it was you. Maybe it was something from, it was like an old Air Supply song, I don't know. And this truck came around and you could buy things. It would get people to buy things when they normally just wouldn't even be thinking about it because they're dumb men and they don't think about these kinds of things. Why couldn't you do that? It's like the ice cream truck. The ice cream truck comes to my house every Wednesday at about 5 o'clock, and you can hear the little song coming for usually about 3 to 5 minutes before it actually gets here, and it makes us buy ice cream during times when we would not normally buy ice cream. Think about that. And it's expensive ice cream. It's $2 for an ice cream cone, but it's really, really good. The guy's got some of the best soft serve. It's unbelievable. But it makes you buy stuff when in absence of the truck, you absolutely would not buy it. That's the whole point of bringing it to them, okay? Publish information on types of arrangements, appropriateness, popularity, Because guess what? Your customers don't freaking know. Well, what kind of arrangement do you want? I don't know. Roses? Well, I've done roses 8 months in a row. What else? I don't know. Spring bouquet? I don't know. It's fall. What this looks good? Is it supposed to be orange? I don't know what this stuff is. How would I know this stuff? I don't know. Tell me. Help me understand. Just say, look, this is what people want. Here's the top 5 things that people are buying. Which one do you think your wife would like the best? There's only 5 choices. Choose one. And then you choose one and you go, oh, okay. If most people want these, then probably my wife would too. How on earth would I know? Here's some other ideas besides just flowers, okay? You get the idea. Okay, and I've already brought this out many, many times. Other love care items besides flowers. I'm not talking about becoming the sleazy whatever shop. I'm talking about stuff that's normal and appropriate and, whatever, useful. Okay. Grocery store. Oh, let's go. Let's just get into this one here. Okay. Let's put the milk and the bread at the front of the store and other things that people come in to buy on short notice. Well, we want to put that stuff at the back of the store because we want them to walk through the whole store so that they have to see everything else and buy all this other crap that they didn't really want, but then they saw it when they came in. Well, you know what? Guess what? If they know that they're going to have to do that, how many times are they not even going to come in because they're going to be like, screw that, I'll just go to 7-Eleven. And I'll pay $4 a gallon for milk instead of $2.29, but I don't care because I don't want to go deal with having to walk through that thing. Make stuff easy for people. Have an area that says, look, here's some of the top things that people need. If you have a store, can't you figure out what some of the top things that people need are? Online ordering and delivery, and don't send me the email that says there are already stores that do this. The majority of them don't, okay? It's a great idea if it does. Free samples, we all know about free samples. How about drive-through pickup? The restaurants have it. Why not the grocery store? You only need a few things. Why not drive through and maybe you order ahead? Maybe you don't. Maybe they have a runner, literally a kid that's in there running around grabbing stuff. Go get me 6 ripe bananas, a gallon of 1% milk, a thing of spaghetti and Prego spaghetti sauce. Let it rip. Go. Maybe you've got an app on your phone where you can order this stuff. I don't know. Figure it out. Pen and paper available for lists. Oh my gosh, how many times you walked into the store and you start thinking of all this junk you need and you don't have anywhere to write it down? Why wouldn't this just be available at the front of the store? Well, people will write it on their cell phone. Yeah, okay, that's fine. But what if they want a piece of paper? Oh, well, I guess we could do that. But by the way, you could put your name of your store on the pen and then encourage people to take them so that every time they go home, they're looking at your pen. That might not be bad. Kiosk telling you where the heck to find stuff by product category, brand name. Okay, so I have this theory that says I will not go anywhere to grocery shop except for my home store. Home store meaning the one that I go to normally where I know where everything is. Now, here's the key test. Do you know where to find mini marshmallows? Because if you don't, that means it's not your home store. It needs to be a store that you've gone to enough times that you even know where stuff like mini marshmallows is. And the problem is people are afraid to death to go into a store that they don't know, and they become very quickly frustrated. There's no employees walking around with an orange smock on like at Home Depot. They don't usually know anything at Home Depot, but at least you can find them. Why not put a kiosk? Why not put something, an app on their phone? Hey, pull up our store directory on your phone. Something. Help people find this stuff. Okay? How about this one? Pre-packaged, quick-prepare meals with instructions. Okay? Now, here's all I'm saying. I'm saying, why not solve the biggest problem that people face on a monthly basis? I would say this is probably number one. Number stinking one. Out of all the problems that people face in their life, this is the number one problem, which is, what should I have for dinner? Now, you can go to Chick-fil-A, or you can go to McDonald's, or you can go to a casual dining restaurant, or all these different options. We can order pizza. The problem is, number one, people get sick of that stuff. And you've only got one choice, right? If I go to McDonald's, they've got McDonald's food. Now you say, well, you can drive around, you can choose whichever one you want. But people don't want to do that. Number one, it's expensive. Number two, it's unhealthy. Number three, you start to feel like a slacker if you are buying fast food or even going to casual dining all the time. If you've got 6 kids like I do, and you go to casual dining, you're out $80, man. $80 if you go to casual dining. You take your kids to Chili's, it's $80 if you got 6 of them like I do. You take them to McDonald's, it's 40-something bucks. It's expensive. So why wouldn't a store say, and this isn't about me having lots of kids, it's about everybody having as many kids as they have or no kids, it doesn't matter. It's about the situation of people saying, holy crap, it's 5:10, I have no idea what I'm doing for dinner tonight. I don't feel like making anything. I haven't planned out anything. I haven't prepared anything. Is there something I could get? And why wouldn't the grocery store that has access to all the ingredients, all the resources, everything right there, why wouldn't they prepackage that? And you say, well, you go in and they got the fried chicken and they got this big counter full of stuff. That's not what I'm talking about, because now I go in and I still have to figure out what I want, and I have to figure out how to package it. I have to figure out what to buy. I'm talking about walking in there and saying, here's 10 choices, and all you got to do is grab this thing, and if you've got 8 people instead of 4, grab 2 of these things, and here's things that require no prep time, here's things that require 10 minutes of prep time, here's things that are easy, they're healthy, whatever. You walk in, you grab it, you walk out. They're delicious. They've got good choice. I'm not saying that this is easy to do. I'm saying this is a major profit center that could be had if they would just do it. Well, we're a grocery store. That's not our business. Yeah, why not? Why not give people, what they flipping want? I'm telling you, this is a huge, huge thing. But this problem has not been solved. I'm telling you, this problem has not been solved. And this is a problem just sitting there waiting to make somebody a fortune. And it should be the grocery store. That's who it should be. But, they think they're doing it. If you walk into the Kroger down my house, they've got all these like fresh things. You can go in and you can get a big scoop of potato salad, and you can get all. I'm telling you that that's not the solution that people want. That solution's fine, and that solution has merit, and you can take that solution, you can do that solution. I'm talking about the walk in and grab this sack and walk out. That's what I'm talking about. Make it super easy. I think Central Market probably is closer than anybody in that regard. But even then, it's not presented and marketed properly. It's marketed by them as, hey, we got all this crap for sale that you can take home and eat. Here's what I want it to be marketed as. We've got 10 things that take 10 minutes or less, and all you got to do is walk in and grab the sack. That's what I want to hear. Okay? Anyway, I think that's all we got time for. It's about it's about 5 till the top of the hour. We've got another webinar here in about 30 minutes or so. We're going to talk about, what are we going to talk about? Oh, we're going to talk about whatever you want to talk about. It's our Insiders Open Forum where you can submit anything that you would like to talk about. So we'll be back in about a half hour, do something for a half hour. I'm going to do something for a half hour, and we'll be back and we'll talk then. Thanks so much for coming today. It's been a lot of fun. Talk to you soon. Bye now.